Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advanced. This game was played in FIDE Swiss 2025. This game happened on the first board. With the white pieces, we have our speed demon Nihal Sarin. With the black pieces, we have another speed demon. This is Alireza Firouzja. Very strong player, and Nihal has his work cut out for him, but he starts with something that absolutely surprises Firouzja. He starts with e4, we have c5, c3. This is the Alp in Sicilian, and Alireza took so much time here calculating all the lines because I think he knew them. But the fact of the matter is that you have to get a position which would be good for you to try and win with the black pieces. So that's why he took so much time. He just e5 now, knight to d5, knight to f3 going for the main line, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and now just finally going for this knight b6, bishop to b3, d5 now immediately striking in the center, e captures on passant, c4, pushing the bishop back, bishop to c2, and just queen captures on d6. Castles now g6, trying to get the bishop queen cat out, knight to a3, bishop to g7, and just b3. b3 is the best top engine move. Nihal has been playing on he's on a whim here. I mean, playing spectacular chess. C captures, a captures, and just knight to d5. But now there's a very nice move in this position, and the best move in this position, which is this very nice bishop to e4. Bishop to e4 is such a beautiful move. Because why bishop to e4 is such a beautiful move? Because let's say you try to go for castles in this position. I mean, seems like a very nice idea, but the thing is that if you go for castles in this position, your position was completely collapsed, simply because of the fact that now there's a very nice move, which is knight to c4, and there is nothing you can do. If you try to move the queen wherever you want to, let's say you move it back, but the fact is bishop captures, and after queen captures, you have this very nice tactic with knight to b6. You cannot capture because that is pinned, because your rooks are not connected and your queen is under attack. You have to move it as well, and you have to capture. So basically you're just going around in exchange without any compensation. So that could have happened, but here after bishop to e4, queen to d8, he sees all the tactics. But now this comes knight to c4, and here just going for the same tactic, rook to b8, now moving the rook out of the way immediately, knight to g5, e6, but finally here bishop to a3. Bishop to a3 is, I mean, one of the best moves here of FIDE Swiss, saying that you want to capture my knight, please go ahead. I'm just gonna be going after your king. He sacrifices a complete piece for the attack, and here Alireza goes for it. He's like, show me where is the attack. And in this position, the best move, absolute best move, is knight to d6 check. You don't want to go under the shadow of the bishop here. You don't have any nice discoveries, but you don't want to give your opponent to actually find any nice discoveries. So here king to d7, let's just say. But this move is absolutely spectacular, f4. And if you think this is the best thing out of this, you have no idea what you're in for. Here just queen to f6, but now comes this beautiful f5. I mean, just look at this beauty, just soak it in. You just play f5 in this position, and and throw it in your opponent's face after the knight sacrifice, and that opponent happened to be Alireza Firouzja. And yeah, that would have been one of the best days of your life. But here in this position, if you go for e captures, I just pick up the knight, thank you very much. But if you go for g captures in this position, there's an even beautiful line, which is this another knight sacrifice, knight captures on f5, and then after pawn captures, you go for this rook captures attacking the queen. Let's say you try to still keep onto your pieces, just going for rook captures with the check. Thank you for the piece. I got the sacrifice piece back. I sacrificed another piece, but your king is still in the center. I'll be able to utilize it, and my game is going to be one of the best games of my life. But here after queen captures, we have f4, immediately not going for this. But that unfortunately is not the best move order that you should have been played this. But after queen to f6, now the best move in this position is very difficult to find. I mean, it's a nasty engine line. Basically, you don't want to be able to, I mean, you cannot expect anyone to find this. The thing is that queen to e1 engine is suggesting that it's the best move. Well, why not queen to e2? That also makes sense. Why not queen to e2? The thing is that maybe the idea is once you push d4, knight captures comes, queen will be guarding it. Also, you can get the queen here, trying to maybe set up some sort of a defense here. If you go for king to d7, get the king out of there, and he checks, you just play queen to g3, and after rook to a8, your position is absolutely spectacular. And that's the thing, I'm holding an eye on everything. I might be able to push d4, I might be able to push f5 in the future. Your bishop is slicing all the way, knight can jump into the game, also targeting that. So the position is absolutely amazing, and yeah, Nihal would absolutely love this. But instead he goes for queen to e2, and now it's a different story. Just one move, and that's all it takes here, and that's absolutely crazy. But here knight d to e7 was played, but now just comes g4, and here queen to h4, but now just comes knight to d6 checking moves, and now just bishop to c5. Bishop to c5 is the top engine move that Nihal played. It's absolutely amazing. And Alireza replies back, well, you want to play top engine moves, here is another one. He plays the top engine move, which is h5 here, bishop to c5, bishop captures on c6, top engine move again. I mean, these players are absolutely crazy here. b6 now. b6 is not the top engine move. The move that you wanted to play in this position was actually h captures. Yes, sacrificing the piece, not recapturing. If you recapture it, your position is completely lost. If you think that you can just recapture this, well, the problem is rook captures, and yeah, this pin is existing, and that's going to be the game over for you. So here after b6 we have this. It's a crazy move to find that Nihal had to find. He had like 3 minutes on the clock, not even 3 minutes. I think he had 1.5 minutes on the clock, and you don't find such moves like this because bishop to f2 is the move. And the problem with this is that you cannot do anything in this position. Let's say you play queen caps on g4, queen captures and h captures, and you might think, well, I found the perfect move, but what now? And that what now is the thing that matters the most in this position, because this was not the move that you had to find. You had to find the continuation that goes along with this, and with 1.5 minutes on the clock, you're not going to find this. Here the continuation is rook captures on a7, sacrificing another piece, saying that you want to take it, just take it. Here just knight captures, but just comes rook captures, king's move, and now here this very nice rook to c7, and now you can see everything is hanging. That I mean, this knight is hanging. First of all, you cannot move the rook. This bishop would be hanging. There's a double attack on the bishop. This bishop somewhere along the line is going to become under fire as well. Also, I'm controlling the 7th rank, so your king cannot move. This is the position that you want to have to beat Alireza Firouzja. But after b6 we have knight caps on c8, and this is well, it was the top 3 engine move. But here after rook caps on c8, now just comes this bishop to f2 attacking the queen. So the same moves but in a different order again by Nihal. But after queen caps on g4, queen captures, h captures, and now just comes bishop to b7, and it seems like Nihal has something in this position, but here Alireza is the one that's pushing. A rook to d8 was played, rook caps on a7, but now just comes bishop to f6. He makes the room for the king, and it turns out Nihal's king is the one in pressure because of all of these pawns, and this rook already eyeing this, and Alireza's king is now safe, and it's going to be very difficult for Nihal to actually work now on the back foot now, and it's going to be very, very difficult. Here rook to a2 was played, king to g7, bishop to a6, but just knight to d5. And what do you even do in this position? Here Alireza goes for here bishop to e2 was played by Nihal, b5 now, bishop caps on g4, but just b4. You can capture this pawn anytime, there is no brush. And here just comes rook to a7, b caps on c4, d captures, but now just comes this rook h to e8. He plays the best move because now this pawn was under fire and you have to defend this, and here just c4, attacking the knight, knight caps on b4. We have c5, but now just comes knight to d3. And you have to understand in this position, these pawns are your lifelines. These are the only one that can take you to a draw. If you lose even one of them, your position could completely collapse, so you have to be careful. And in this position, the move that was played is bishop to e3, and bishop to e3 is a fine move, no issues. But now comes rook to d5, and the move that you want to play in this position is actually rook to d1, and that is the only move that ensures a draw here. If you play knight to e5, rook captures, he captures, bishop to e2, and my position is maybe just holding out to a draw. But after rook to d5 here, Nihal goes for bishop to f3, thinking that maybe now the rook will move and I'll be able to have a tempo. And yes, in 3 moves, I'm going to have more time on the clock, so I can calculate everything else. But the thing is that this is not a good move, and Alireza finds the best move. He goes for rook to e5. Now the bishop is under attack, and where do you move it? It just bishop to d2 was played, but just comes rook caps on c5, and now comes the trouble, because you have lost one of the pawns that was your lifelines in the game. You sacrificed a piece for that, and now you don't have that, so you're down a pawn. There's going to be 3 against 1 here towards the king side, and you don't have counterplay towards the king's queen side. So here, what do you do in this position? King to h1 was played first of all, but now rook to c2, bishop moves, and now just going for this. So there is immense pressure here. You have to bring the bishop back. He plays bishop to g1, but unfortunately it's a bit too late. Here rook to h4 was played, rook to a4, but now rook captures, b captures, rook to a2, but this position is still so complex in this position. Here bishop to c6 was tried, bishop to e5, rook to f4, knight to f4, bishop to b5. Both players playing waiting moves and trying to calculate and find the right moves, but just comes f5 now. Just going for this with the bishop here, there is always calculations that you have to make. Here just rook to c2, bishop to g1, knight to d5, king rook to f2, rook to c3. This is a long game, bear with me, but I'm going to show you a very nice line here. Rook to f1 was played, king to f6, rook to e1, rook to a3, bishop to d7, rook to a2. So still bishop moves, you might be able to have some counterplay. But the thing is that position is very, very difficult for Nihal to hold, but he's still gonna try till the absolute end where he's getting mated. He just h4. Now just comes knight to d3, bishop to b6, knight to e4, and bishop to c6. And still, you can see that the bar is shooting up. Nihal has some hopes in this position. Bishop to g3, rook to b1, and bishop to f2, rook to d8, bishop to d8 check, king to e5, bishop to c7 check, king to f6, bishop to d8 check. And most likely here in this position, Alireza has blundered with this bishop move, and here Nihal has his chance to be able to draw this game. But Alireza is definitely not going to be taking a draw. He plays king to g7, and now for you to be able to find this draw, I'm gonna ask you to pause the video, try and find out the only move in this position that gives you a draw. I have at it. I mean, it's a beautiful move. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is not bishop captures. The move is first rook to b7 check, pushing the king out of the way. Once the king moves, now you go for bishop captures, and here after f captures, now you play this rook to b4, and now keeping an eye on your pawn, threatening to pick up the pawn. And once you push this pawn all the way, now you play bishop to b6. So now you cannot push because this will be an issue. So that's the draw that you want to find. But unfortunately, Nihal here was just down to 1 minute on the clock. He You cannot calculate this, all of this right in 1 minute, and that's the problem here. Bishop to g5 was played, but now this blunders the game. Knight captures, h captures was played, but there is still two connected pass pawns with the bishop there, rook there. It's just impossible to do anything. Bishop to h4 was played, rook to b7 check, king to f8, bishop to d7, king to e7, bishop to b5 check, king to d6, rook to g7, and here that pawn is also captured. Now there's three connected pass pawns, and in this position is not, it does not have that much hope here. Rook captures on g6, rook to a1, king to g2, bishop to e3, king to f3, bishop to d6, king to e2, rook to e2 check, king to d3, rook to e3 check, king to d2 f4, bishop to c4, rook to e3, rook to f6, bishop to a5 check, king to d1 f3, rook to f7, e5, bishop to a6, e4. Now pushing all the way, but Nihal is going to absolutely pay out till the end. Bishop to b7 and a few more moves for later. Bishop to a6, king to b3, rook king to c1, rook to e1 check was played, but unfortunately here you're just getting mated. Rook to d1 was tried, but now just comes f2, and it was on this move, on just move 82, that our speed demon Nihal Sarin resigned the game. I mean, he played a spectacular game. Kudos to him, highest respect to him, really applauding him right now. He played an phenomenal game, phenomenal attacking game, where he could have won the game even had he just find the right move orders in the game. And in time trouble he was not able to find the moves. In time trouble, Alireza is an absolute beast, and it's very difficult to beat him. But the thing is that he still had his chances, he still had a chance to draw this game as well, but he was not able to find that in time trouble. It sometimes happens, there is no issues. We will still have a chance at candidates, and definitely he can try to win the next two games that are going to be there in the tournament. He's definitely going to try, but it's going to be very difficult, and I hope he does. I hope, really hope that he gets the candidate spot here. He's been playing spectacular chess, even against Barham, even the draw that he made against Pateas, and here now against Alireza Firouzja. I mean, just, yeah, I'm out of words. The way that he's been playing is absolutely spectacular. He's playing with phenomenal class here, and all I can say is, if he keeps pushing like this, 2750 is not out of the way, and even candidates, even in the World Cup, is not out of the way as well. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with such amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be able to see you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.